Oh shoot.
All right, here we go with another episode of another. Oh wow, I messed up tonight, huh? Can't remember. Anyway, it's the uneducated, educated back with another episode of Tuned In, where we talk about everything under the sun, so that each one could teach one. And tonight's topic is gonna be Mr. Spears and Miss Hash. Now I know y'all heard what's going on. So of course, my question to you guys is it a PSA or not? I don't know. Well, let's get right into the show.
Oh, it's serious, huh? We ain't even doing the music. Okay.
Nah, I'm glad you said something about no music. The reason why our live got cut last week was because we were playing music.
Oh wow.
Listen, when I play soca and reggae, YouTube don't get mad. But here I played Miss Beyonce
Oh yeah.
and this new girl Mia, and they cut us right off. It's all good, YouTube. It's all good. I guess I really ain't read the rules. So what's
I
going
mean,
on?
it's on YouTube. I can get it on YouTube. Why you can't reuse it? You didn't claim it as yours.
I don't claim anything as mine. As you can see, scrolling at the bottom, everything I have or use is for educational purposes, so that
Just,
each one can teach one. That is the motto. But when it's like Beyonce, big people like that, you just can't get away with
mm.
playing their music. Okay, so now, how's it going, Ash?
It's good. It's good. I'm out here in the woods. I'm not gonna say where. We'll say where I'm at another time because I'm currently here. I don't like to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so you see I'm back. Rennie is being featured again. I'm back in the car
Mm-hmm.
for
Okay,
this
okay.
episode. Shout out to Coleman in Colombia. Cause these headlights is they in here popping like I have a ring light on. Like they lighting up the night sky at this point.
All right. So quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how are you powering the stuff in your car?
It's a headlight. It's battery operated.
Okay, I'm just checking because
Oh,
just let you know that if you use anything in your car while you're in there and the engine is not running, it will
oh,
go
you
off the
drain
battery
your
valve.
battery. Mm-hmm.
And when it's time to start the vehicle, it may not because it done killed the battery. So be careful.
Right.
All
I
right,
learned that.
so you heard what's going on in these streets. We just was talking about this man, Mr. Spears, having a disrespectful mouth, and we come to find out America is judging. He's getting sued by a child actor's parent because the context of his PSA, quote unquote PSA skit was a little bit in the, what do you say, perverted side,
Not against
borderline.
him, Mr. Spears. Not him.
Mm-mm.
The handsome
Yeah.
Mr. Spears. Not him. Oh my
But
god.
Miss Haddish now, she's just making her way through the door. She's getting up there, popular. That movie, what was the Girls Trip, was out of sight. She got real famous off of that. Now she's doing this borderline skit, PSA slash questionable
So
video.
first of all, I seen it briefly. I had to fast forward through it. I can't watch stuff like that for real. Um, I just I understand that when you do
Be right
something that
back.
art, huh?
No, I'll be right back. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. I understand that when you do something like in an artistic form, you don't you don't feel like you need to explain it, but some stuff needs to be explained. Like this should have came with I don't know a synopsis about it or something, whatever. Like just describing the video, da da da. Because some things don't need to be left open to interpretation. When people don't get your point of your artistic view, now you over here getting questioned whether you're a pedophile or not. Like that's what it is. Now this question is up for debate because nobody knows what the point. Well, not nobody knows, but most people are didn't get the point of that. Like I don't know.
Again, comedy is a very borderline spot to use as a way to get your point across if it's not done tastefully. And I'm afraid that this wasn't done tastefully. I don't know
And
if the point was not to do it tastefully at all, or um, that it was the point to do it, not to do it tastefully. Either way, the problem now is that the child's parents, guardian, is suing them because of the content of the video. I
right.
seen the video. A few parts did make me uncomfortable. Um, I do get the message, which is really the point. If you get to the bottom line of it, the point of the whole situation is truthful. You got to be careful who you leave your children with. Now, that's the biggest point in the whole scenario. That, to me, that's what I feel like we should really focus on, that portion of it. Now, as far as being sued, uh, how uncomfortable it made the parent. Why wasn't there they around?
Okay, so I feel like in order for us to talk about it, because there's so many pieces to talk about, I think we should dissect it part piece by piece, right? So
Mhm.
first, let's talk about the message. I agree with the message that they are trying to send. That is something that more people need to be aware of. You know, a lot of people think that, oh well, you volunteer to watch my child, or you agree to watch my child, I should be able to trust you. Yes, that should be how things go, but let's be real, that's not how it is, and people need to vet people the same way we have all these episodes talking about how people don't know the people that they're in relationship with. Sometimes people don't even know the people that they're friends with. You leaving your kids with your friends or even your family members. Some people are family but they not close. You leaving your kids with these people, now what? Now this is what's happening with them. And it happens a lot in the black community, and I feel like we don't talk about it enough. It needs to be talked about more. um Sometimes when the victims come forward, instead of being protected, they get blamed like somebody. No, that's not how it should go. So I do agree with the message that they were trying to send. What do you think about their message?
Okay, I agree 100% with what you said. Also, I just would like to add, additionally, we really need to focus on the fact that the child's father wasn't around to help the mother out. You understand me? With the child, and that goes a lot about who you have children with. You understand me?
Mhm.
Okay, I understand that no relationship could be perfect, but we should focus more on not having children with people that we can't even have a co-parenting relationship with. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So at least, even though y'all don't work out, at least he'll still come take care of his kid. At
Exactly.
least he can watch him when you have to work. You know,
Exactly.
but I mean, the responsibility of a parent is far harder, I would think, for them to be molesting their own children or doing anything other than trying to raise them right. I'm gonna give everyone the benefit of the doubt. We have to, we have to give the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Although, as we've seen, that some of these parents lose their damn mind. So, and I know some of these children also, go above and beyond to act. I've done it. I'm not gonna sit here and say I haven't tested the waters. How
Yeah.
many, how many of us have pushed their parents to the point where pushed, to the point where your parent wanted to beat you up because you getting way besides yourself. No, no behavior, straight up no behavior, no. That we can't get mad enough to want to do anything violent to our parent unless they doing something like molesting us. But I mean that's not the average parent. Most of the time, is these people, you leave your children with.
Exactly.
They take full advantage of the opportunity because they have it, because you
It,
leave the opportunity. So it goes back to, there's nothing wrong with waiting to procreate. Nobody's not, what I'm saying, but there's people who's out here doing it, having sex with other people responsibly enough not to have a child. I mean, we have to go back to that point first. You understand me? You can't put a child in a position if there's no child. Second, how do you truly vet people in your family unless you know of anyone that has stepped up and made any type of accusation stating that they're doing these things to the children? You don't know. I can't assume that my uncle's going to molest my child if I ask him to watch. I can't assume that. Well, so I mean, what? How do you know? How do you help out here? How do we figure out? You know, what are the things that we would see or know about? A family member, male, female, because women molest children too. Yeah,
Right.
I know it's not as many as men, but
No,
they
it
are.
is. They just don't get help. People, men get congratulated for getting molested, and it's really sick. It really
No, I'm
is.
talking about that molest children. There's not that many women that
There
molest
are.
children.
That's
No,
what I'm
I'm not
saying.
saying that there isn't.
Babysitters.
I
Again,
have been in
those
jail with a few
children
of them.
be getting congratulated. My babysitter took my
Mm.
virginity. Now you a man. You a real. You know what I'm saying? That's how it gets dealt with. It gets. I feel like male children victims talk more but get helped less. If it's a
They
woman
probably.
that did it, especially, they get,
Mhm.
oh, women can't rape you, or oh, you a man now. Da 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 da. Like, no, that's not how that works. That was a child, and that child got violated. But back to what you were saying about how do you know? You know when your child is crying about not wanting to go back. You know when your child starts acting out and they only act different when they're around. You know what I'm saying? People don't know their kids the same way they don't know the people around them. They don't know their kids neither. Your children tell you everything you need to know, whether they feel comfortable enough to say it with words or they say it through their behavior, and people ignore that. And it's really sad. I understand that life is hard, it's stressful. I'm a mother myself. It is very difficult, even with the other parent in the home, to have to raise your children. It's a full-time job on top of your full-time job, on top of everything else that you're doing in life. And sometimes it the frustration that comes with being a parent is like the icing on the cake, the straw that broke the camel's back, whatever you want to call it. But you got to pay attention to your children, and people don't take that into consideration.
But now we're saying that look, we have to trust to put our children in these people's hands to make sure that they're doing that. I want to avoid even sending the
Exactly.
children there. So, I mean, how do we spot pedophiles before they even get the opportunity?
I'm
We
gonna
don't
tell you,
know.
you're right, but I'm gonna tell you what I do. My son got one time to tell me he don't want to go somewhere. He ain't going. He not
Mm.
going. He got one time to look depressed after he goes somewhere, and he will never be back there again. It sucks that I had that it has to be after. So, it already affected him, but I don't care. And granted, nothing has happened to him, thank goodness. But I'm just saying, like, what my son tell me he don't want to go to school. I'm gonna be up at that school trying to figure out why he don't want to be there. If it's just because he don't feel like going, because I'm gonna get to the bottom of it with him first. I don't just dismiss his claims. We talked through it, we validated, we make sure it's whatever, and then if it's something that needs to be addressed, I'm gonna be there. Like, what? I'm not doing that. You don't wait until something happens to your kids. Your children say when they're uncomfortable. Um, they let you know these things. People just don't always listen to them. But because we're gonna save that for another episode. We'll
Mm.
get into that a little bit more in another episode. So back to dissecting this, right? The next
Mm.
layer is the mother is suing them. My personal opinion on this mother, I'm not gonna say this is the case for all of them, but the fact that she was willing to settle for $15,000, and this is about two of her children, not just this little boy. The little boy just happens to be younger, so the older one is suing for herself this time.
Mm.
But this is not the first time that they tried to get a settlement. If you are
Right.
doing this and you only want $15,000 and you were willing to settle for $15,000, you didn't even want to. You wasn't even suing them for $15,000. I feel like this is a shakedown, like they said. I'm gonna look
15,000
at.
or 50?
I seen 15,000.
15?
Yes, she wanted to settle, not even suing them for 15. She was gonna take that as a settlement. And they didn't, I guess she offered that as a settlement and they didn't take it. From what I saw.
Mm.
The thing that I read about it. So I feel like that's a shakedown. You just wanted a couple dollars. One. If my child's on the okay. I don't understand why people insist on having children in this industry. It's not for kids. Is a known pedophile ring. Modeling, acting, singing, anything that got to do with this type of thing has been a known pedophile ring. The whole Me Too movement started to talk about that. Bill Cosby got arrested for stuff like this. This is what they do. They take advantage of people in these situations. You want to get in, this how you get in. It's like a game. You get blood in, blood out.
You
So
saying that, but like that is the driving force behind everything. If you wipe all that stuff off, you know what's left? Sex.
right.
people
So
people
I,
really do things to get any type of sex. Like sex is really not it is not being used like it's supposed to. And so because of that, a lot of people are getting hurt in between. It don't make no sense if you want to be in this industry and be famous, rapper, or you got a quote unquote sleep around with Puff Daddy and his crew. I mean, things like that is what we're hearing. You know what I'm saying? As the public.
exactly,
So, what kind of motivation is that for anyone to do something? You know, in
exactly,
these type of industries, if they know they might possibly be a victim of some type of sexual
exactly. And then to have your
molestation.
child there, right? You have your child there. Why are you not there? Like, if my son, if my son got to be a son and I can't be on the set, he not coming. What are you talking about? He's a child. He's a child. He cannot agree to anything. He cannot decide what he's going to do or say. That's what I'm for.
And
I
you
don't
can't
even
send a
understand why
child
that
with a
little boy
child
can't.
either.
You said what?
You can't send a child with a child either.
Exactly. Like, I, I don't know. I just every time I hear these stories, I'm like, what were the parents doing? What were the parents doing? Because
I, I mean, if she was
how
dedicating
do you,
herself, go ahead, go ahead.
I didn't catch the last part.
No, I said go ahead. I'll talk after that.
Oh no, I just don't understand why the parents allow their children to be on the set without them. Like, if she was on the set, she would have seen that that was visually disturbing, and she could have took her child out of that, and he shouldn't have been able to go back. Like, I don't understand how it happened to the point where he had all these times and he's traumatized, and his sister's traumatized, and now they have to sue.
Well, the video was on media takeout. I don't think they took it down yet. So if anybody want to go see it, I mean, like I said, I understand this. It's is the start of it. Its intentions is supposed to warn us about the behaviors of leaving your children with someone you might not know, and there could possibly be some type of sexual molestation going on, and we're
Right.
trying to figure out, mostly how do we get some of the signs down packed so that we can warn people of the behaviors and the things that goes on, so that we know what particular things that we can avoid putting our children through. Now,
Exactly.
any dedicated mother wanting their child to be a star usually be right there, messing up the situation, or being overproducing and getting in the way of natural things that would accommodate the child, would mess with the parents,
Mhm.
being
Exactly.
bossy. So I don't see how she would be able to leave her child with. I mean, especially with Aries Spears, really. We
Exactly. I don't.
he's not he's not the greatest of all times. He's definitely not a goat, and so he put this. I mean, we did talk last week. In fact, he had something in the brewing. We just didn't know this was what he
Right.
had in the brewing. What?
Right. We did talk about that. What Mr. Handsome Aries Spears had coming up.
Well, like I said, like I always say, anything that you bring into reality has some type of a truth to it. So is it that Mr.
Exactly.
Spears was molested all his life, or
Exactly.
this is some of the behaviors that he's partaking in himself?
Right.
No.
I mean, they said Tiffany did. Tiffany was a victim, so maybe this was something personal to her. Uh, like you said, that people who want to bring awareness usually have experienced something or it's something very close to them. So it's possible that they've both been victims, and that's why he could see that not only what is it that man doing it to the child, but then eventually the child starts to return feelings or maybe starts to look at other people that way in the future because that's what they know. And the people that were supposed to protect them and treat them and teach them differently were unable to.
Well, I mean, if you saw the video, Tiffany brought the boy, her son downstairs, his son to him with no clothes on. He just had on his
Right.
underwear and a couple of toys, a toy with him in the first scene. So, I mean, well, I mean, why wasn't the kid fully clothed?
You said what?
I'm trying to figure out why she didn't bring her child to him fully clothed. To me, it seemed like they was on the most lowest budget on. I mean, for Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears, you're trying to tell me they couldn't get this skit done close to as Lifetime as possible?
Exactly. I will never understand that part. And that was the next layer that I wanted to dissect anyway, right? Because
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, well, she is out in the woods, guys. So I guess she might go in or out. But again, like I said, to me, it was a very low budget situation, and so the production of the video, to me, is as if they were doing it on $1 budget, and for two well respectable artists in the industry, I think that their budget could have been a lot more sufficient to make the information that they would. I'm assuming the information that they was trying to put out there look a little bit more appropriate for the information. Nobody's focusing now on the message that's being put out. They're more focused on how it looks a little bit suspicious, in
right,
what the production produced. So I mean, because it was low budget, it looked like some it was very distasteful. You know, when it came to the production of the whole message, it just was distasteful. But I mean,
right,
we didn't get to see the full thing, only what was leaked out. So enough, what was leaked out was enough for me. Uh,
exactly.
especially the baby oil
Or the bath.
yeah.
I will never understand why they use real children. Just use adult actors who are old enough to consent to pretend to be
Mhm.
kids. I don't understand why children really need to be exposed to that. But children in children's shows, all right, fine. But they don't need to be in that. It didn't need a real kid in that scene for that scene to resonate. Like why do that child now, even if that child was not traumatized or did not experience something offset, why did that child need to look back at that movie and see themselves in that when they're old? You know what I mean? Or even watching it in their childhood, like, Mom, I want to see the movie that I made. You can't show them, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that children need to ever be in stuff like that. Like, even on Law and Order when they're using kids, they don't need to use kids. It's disgusting enough. Why do people
But
really need to see it?
but when you watch these shows, Law and Order and stuff like that, they are specific of what they show you. They know
That
how to build it up, or make it seem, keep us watching the scene so that it appears that this is going on. They don't actually show children being molested.
that's true, but the children be saying this stuff. Like they still say stuff in Law and Order something. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
I
now
understand that.
they don't even need to know those words. Now you got an 8-year-old actor going up and pretend to be on the stand talking about he raped me and he touched my butt. Like, why do that 8-year-old need to know that? They don't ever need to say that. That should not be. I don't feel like people want things to be too real and it's fake to the point where they are willing to watch children do these fake things just so it can be real to them. But it's really in that child's head now. Just for entertainment, it's not worth. It's never been worth it. Like everybody's mad at Tiffany and Aries, but are they mad at everybody else for even making other kids be in the situation? Because that's on them too. Like those children don't need that. They have midgets or dwarves or I'm not sure what they're called. but they can pretend
Let's
to
say
be
the
children
let's.
if they absolutely need to. You know what I'm saying? Like, just pick
I don't.
something else.
I don't think they like though to be called those words that you called just now. I think they want to be
Okay.
called little people. So
Little
little
people.
people.
I'm not trying
Yeah,
to be offended. I literally did
I
not mean
know.
to
I
be.
know.
They have
I
little
know.
people for that.
Hmm.
Use them. They have, you know what I'm saying? They have options. They have people in their early 20s that look like 15-year-olds. Use them. I don't understand why you need a real 15-year-old.
Well, I mean, you have to remember it's acting and it's TV, and we do understand that it's a show. So, but these children are also actors and actors, and at a young age, they have maybe, I would assume that they have more of an understanding of what exactly is going on and that they're playing a part. The reality of the situation is, I do believe that children should be aware of certain things because it can help us not, you know, force them to go through too much of anything that they're going through abusive before they can be able to tell us what's going on so that we can help them right away. That I don't think 2 year olds, 3 year olds should be screaming anything about touch my butt. But like I said, if we keep our children in the dark about certain things, it may bring a fear or discourage them from even coming forth with any type of information that will be helpful to us to understand what they're going through. So everything is how it's presented to these children for them to grow from the situation. It doesn't have to really be negative that they understand these things. They do need to understand that the behavior is negative
Right.
and that certain behaviors shouldn't be done to them, especially as children, so that they can be made aware, so they can tell other people what's going on. But again, I do believe the reason why that this is so much problem in the situation. One is because of the suit. Two is because the production, excuse me, was very cheap. It wasn't no us seeing the child, and I mean seriously, he was looking through at the child through a cutout in the newspaper.
It was very Mad TV esque. Like, that's what I thought of.
Mm.
Um, and I agree that children do need to know these things. I just don't agree that no child should ever sit around rehearsing. He touched my butt. He touched my butt. Or let me pretend to be scared. And I know that some movies, like, they will cut away and the child is actually never ever on the scene with the person pretending to do those things. And they'll scare the child and the child don't even know their what the real scene is being used for. But still, you cannot show that child that movie. That child cannot watch the episode of Law and Order that they was in. Cheap production or not, they children should not be involved in that. In this situation, however, this cheap production looked like this was a personal movie that got leaked. It don't look like they was ever going to use it for anything. It looked like they was making their own little private stash video.
Mm. So
Sorry to
you,
say,
you
but it
think that's
looks
what
like
it
that.
was?
I don't know. Probably not, but that's what it looks like.
I mean, quite honestly, why was Tiffany Haddish even doing anything with Mr. Spears?
Yeah,
Like, anyway,
I, exactly. That's the part that confused me the most. Like, when they said
like
that they was doing it together, I'm like, Tiffany, really? What?
because if you look at some
It's
of
so.
the that
Oh no, I was just gonna say I have so many questions with this now.
I got plenty. I could talk about this for weeks. Seriously, because it's a lot to think about in this whole scenario. What you like,
Is it?
Tiffany has done some stuff, and she was up and coming. Like her name was ringing bells. Mr. Spears here now. He was ringing bells the negative way, but for him to start talking about Lizzo and then coming out with this video, boy, he getting fed to the media. He is raw meat right now. Everybody
Exactly.
talking about this man right now. So I mean, I guess if that's what he was trying to accomplish as well, his name still ringing bells in the world, he definitely got us ringing.
Exactly. And I don't think he want that. That shouldn't be at all what he wanted.
Uh,
Not that way.
Now, another thing in the video, which was I guess a teachable moment, is the fact that Miss Haddish here was always leaving her baby and going somewhere. What was she running after? The implication there is another situation, isn't it?
Right. So I couldn't watch the whole thing. I just kept like skipping through. Where did she say she was
Mhm.
going each time?
The last time she said she was going to the post office.
Uh, so it's and you did mention this earlier. It's so funny to me that um she never had the boy dressed. It was like she didn't even bother to take care of him. She just was like, can I put him off on you? Can I put him off on you? Can I put him off on you?
It's
To the
a
point where
lot
she
of
just
so a lot of
right.
messages in there. There's a lot of stuff to really pick out and can you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of
Exactly.
that. So,
There is.
but like I said, trying to portray that women single women, single parents, are that irresponsible, you know, that they don't care who they leave their child with is one of the PSAs in that. And it's I guess far enough regular for it to be noticeable for them to use in part of the skit.
Right. And that's it.
I mean, the world ain't perfect, but a lot of things can be avoided if you just take the time to analyze the situation. Seriously, there's always ways to keep yourself in the midst. And like I said, if people take time to get to know themselves first, get themselves together first, everything else,
Exactly.
would follow suit. It seems like if you're in one path, that path, will expand with other people helping you along the way. That's on that is practically on the same path. When you have a negative lifestyle and do things out of without any care and concern and things happen out of your control because you didn't control the situation, you have to get back from there.
Exactly.
Well, I just don't understand what the
Exactly.
rush is to have children if you're not financially or mentally prepared. Because as I've seen throughout the years, man, children could be a lot, and all children come in all different shapes, sizes, and forms, mentalities, personalities. Some of them are very brilliant. Some of them are very smart. Some of them are, regular average. Well, all children are beautiful. Doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But these are the people that we're supposed to be leaving the future to, and they're supposed to be uh, nourished in a way so that they will advance the world as the world has been advancing.
Exactly. But the rest is society. That's all you hear. Oh, you get old. Oh, you better hurry up and have these kids, or you gonna be too old to have them. Oh, who wants to wait until they in their 30s or 40s to have kids? But when you in your 20s, you're still a baby. You haven't even lived your life. But that's what everybody tells you. Oh, you 25 and don't got no kids. Everybody looking at you crazy. Why? Why can't I get to know myself before I have children? You know how many people used to ask me when I'm gonna have kids? I don't know. I don't know. You want to go up there and talk to God for me and figure it out? Because I don't
Hmm.
know. Like, why are you asking me? I don't know. Why is that even a question? I don't even got a man. What I don't know. Like, where do I get this baby at the store? Can I return it if it don't fit? Like, what do I do? Just rushing me to have
Exactly.
a kid. Do you
And
have?
then
Do
you
you pay my
drop,
bills? What if I?
and
What if
then
I'm homeless?
and then you dropping them off with Mr. Uncle Spears over there. Uh,
Exactly.
that's
Like,
crazy
I'm
though.
not. I don't. It is crazy.
This
It's
that
a.
that
It's
dude
a
Aries
wild thing.
Spears is terrible.
And he looks so bad in the video. Like,
He looked like
whew.
a raccoon cross with
Right.
Bookman from Good Times.
I'm too young.
Oh wow, you don't know, you never seen Good Times if you don't
I
get
know
out.
what Good Times is, but I don't know the characters.
You don't
Hello.
know Good Bookman, the super the maintenance man, with the big belly. Yeah, he
I
looked
just know
like
they
that.
be on the street. I just know they be on the stoop and they be
Oh,
like,
here.
good times.
Okay. Let me get a little bit earlier in time for you. What is the old boy name?
That's all I know.
Ella husband. What is Ella's husband's name?
Is that also on good times?
No, that's what's that story? What show is that now? I'm talking about here. One of Tyler Perry shows. He was a fire chief.
Oh, the pains.
You're right, the pain. That's what he looked like. He looked like the father on crack with
Carl?
raccoon eyes. Yeah,
Yeah, he
exactly
do
what he
look like
looked like.
that. He does look
Oh,
like that.
nasty self licking his lips behind the newspaper.
Ridiculous. There's a lot going on there. A lot of wrong stuff going on there.
I mean, is that what he do though? Is that what he partake in?
You're right.
I mean, but how old is that video though?
You said
Is
what?
this some? Was it an old video? I didn't even get that. Was this something recent that
I
they done?
From what I'm hearing, this is supposed to be old because the mother, excuse me, because the mother can represent the son, but the daughter is too old for her to represent her anymore. This is not the first time they tried to sue.
Right,
Before,
I
the
heard
mother was
that.
representing both the kids. Now the daughter is aged out and she can represent herself. So I'm guessing this is supposed to be old.
So is this before
I would
either
hope
one
so.
of them really took off?
Oh, it didn't say how exactly how old it was.
Now I heard
But
Tiffany
they it
done dipped out the
honestly,
country though.
you said what?
I heard Tiffany done dipped out the country. She went in her head real fast.
Okay, I don't blame her because, like I said my piece on this particular case. I don't feel like that with every case, but with this case, I do feel like it's a shakedown. Um, but again, they did multiple things with these kids. When did the child start to say these things that the mother never, did you show up with the police? Like I be having so many questions. I'm hearing that this video was out and I'm hearing that they said that all this stuff happened on the set, but did you, or well, that they was grooming them? How much time, excuse me, did they spend with them that they was grooming them? You know what I mean? Like, where was you at
Mhm.
when they was spending all this time with your kid? When did you bring the police up there to investigate? Like, let's get those details out. I don't need to see this leak video. I need to see that the mother did something. I'm sorry.
I believe the actual title of the video was PSA from Aries Spears or something that to that effect. So he's saying this is a public service announcement. That's
Right,
what PSA means.
right. He looked pretty. He looked like he does now, though, kind of. So I don't know how old this is supposed to be because they look pretty much like today. It's looking like today
Um,
years old.
well, he was kind of raggedy looking, so I mean that don't make him a little better looking now. But I mean, they said that this is all his production. He wrote it all up. So is he trying to let us know that the reason why he is the way he is, or why it's because this is some of the things that he went through in his life? He should say that.
Exactly. Right.
You know, what I don't understand is did Tiffany had to honestly read the script and before signing on to this, or she just thought that her part was, and that was that. Because I
Right.
mean,
That's what I want to know too.
she definitely dropped that boy off with no clothes, only his underwear, to her, who's somebody who's quote unquote supposed to be her uncle to watch, so that she could run her errands. If she felt like something was wrong with the situation, do you think she'd have partaken something like that? Do we have to trust in like Miss Haddish that she has better moral standards than that?
Right. I would hope not. I would hope that had she known something else, she would have acted differently.
But that
Um,
she didn't read the script.
but I know. Well, again, see, like it's hard to tell. Some stuff they only give you your part. Just like what I was saying about the kids, where they make the kids be scared, but kids don't know what the scene is for. So it depends. Um, unless it looked like that's what like what you said about the low production, right? It looked like they was in somebody's rental home or maybe an actual home. So what if she just walked in brought the boy and left the home or something? What if they recorded all her scenes at once and then she never had to come back? Like, it's so hard to tell with the way that these things go, you know? And they cut and
Uh,
edit everything, so who knows?
So I mean, so would you trying to give Miss Haddis the benefit of the doubt, saying that she particularly didn't read through the whole script and sign and agreed to do something that she would have had some type of objection with if she felt like it was being done distasteful? I just can't see,
Obvious,
these actors and actors letting people allow them to do stuff that they're not going over and checking to see if they're personally okay with it.
right?
I mean, I'm not saying that I am an Aries Spears fan. I just, like I said, quite honestly, the message is something that we should take heed to. The production was disgustingly distasteful. It was very low budget. So I'm thinking maybe she owed Aries a favor for a lookout on something that
Right.
she just was like, yo, I got you, bro, and took that one on the chin. But then when I hear she ran out the country, I'm not so certain anymore.
Exactly. Have you ever seen that movie? There's something strange about the Johnsons, or the Johnsons, or something like that. It's a
No,
very short film. Okay. Because I only bring it up because it has to do with this, right? So there's a movie. I don't know what this is bringing awareness to, but there's a movie where this son has been uh raping his father, sodomizing his father. I guess can't really rape him because he's a man, but by definition, sodomizing his dad for years. Um, and then it just kind of climaxes from there. Like the father writes a book about it. The son threatens him. On the son's wedding day, the father rapes. I mean, he rapes the father. Then they get in a fight, and the father ends up getting killed. And then I think the mother kills the son or something. And then she burns the manuscript and act like it never happened.
mm.
But like, what is that bringing awareness to? And why did they have to do that? But you know what I mean? Like some stuff, I don't know. Maybe we just need to protest and be outside and talk about it that way. I don't know why people need to see this.
I really want to know who do you got to talk to get a movie out, you know, because I could think of a lot more other ways to spend time producing things that are more PSA involved than some of the movies that we're seeing. But I guess entertainment, people call, you
Exactly.
of all people should be one of the ones that have the most information about it. Y'all writers, y'all are writing this stuff. Y'all creative
Exactly.
minds. The
Exactly. It's
creativity,
crazy.
some people's creativity is not, it makes other people very uncomfortable because it leans towards a lot of perversion. So, well, somebody has to do it, I guess. And Mr. Spears took it upon
I
himself
exactly.
to
Some
do it low budget.
I just I just don't understand why. Like, what do you think people are thinking when they sit down and they write this stuff up and they be like, all right, people need to like, who told them that? Yes, go through with this.
Whoever paid for the production was just Mr. Spears. He probably invested his last dime in this. This is why he $15,000 is
But
one
like
of the numbers floating around.
nobody, nobody in the room was like, nah, this is not it. Nobody.
Because again, like I said, we didn't see any actual molestation. We only saw uh the I how would you say this, but the idea was put into our head based on the stuff that he was doing. So we didn't actually see any type of molesting. So again, I just think that the production was so low budget, it made it distasteful because there was a few scenes that was a little disturbing, but was nothing over the top disturbing. And I'm gonna be quite honest, except for him jumping in the tub with the kid.
I was
But
about
I
to
mean,
say
I can
that.
see a father do playing with a kid like that. It doesn't have to be so sexual. You understand what I'm saying? Not the
Right.
rubbing on the baby oil. So some mothers have their kids rubbing they skin because they tired, they foot hurt. So that's not a sexual situation.
But yes,
Again.
it is because that's not his family. Like that's what crosses the line. Well, how do you teach your kids safety if you letting them get paid to do this with strangers? And you know what I mean? Like, no, that crossing line, period. Filming, whatever. Like I feel like any filming when they gotta do all that extra stuff where they have to actually act out certain things that would be frowned upon in their regular childhood, you
Hmm.
cross the line with them. My son
Okay.
is when is my son gonna be in the tub with somebody that's not his, you know what I mean? Like,
Now,
who's
I was
doing
talking
that?
about like with a parent. I wasn't talking about like with an uncle. What I'm saying is, that isn't more realistic. You and your son playing around and he start throwing water and you jump in with him. I don't see any type of molestation there. What I'm saying is, because like, again, and like I said, because the production was so low budget, it is so questionable. It's questionable why they even wasted their time doing it. Because to me, we're more focused on why he's being sued for it and the fact that it was low budget. I don't really, and like I said, nobody's paying attention to the actual message because they're so disturbed by the cheap. I mean, I'm 100% disturbed by how cheap it was done. I'm secondly disturbed about the fact that Miss Haddish, she was a willing participant in something so damn cheap. Come on now, girlfriend. I know it. Like I said, she must have really owed Mr. Spears a um a, a, a favor because this right here was some cheap nonsense that is probably getting out of hand now. But now we don't know what was done with the daughter, right? We didn't get none of that information. Okay, well, Ashley will be back. She out in the woods. Add you to this stream, Ashley.
Thank you.
And
I don't know. I just because I be feeling off watching Law and Order sometimes. Like I said, if I see them doing anything, like I was battling with it when I was watching the video because I was like, okay, maybe the little boy does not know what the intent is because it would be Aries on the screen, the little boy on the screen. Very rarely them on the screen together. All right, fine. I can understand that. You know what I'm saying? So that's not as traumatizing to the child because the child is not really doing anything. He's just playing on the floor like little kid. You know what I'm saying? It was the scene when he had his legs open, knowing that he has underwear on. Like he could have had on shorts and no shirt or something. I don't know, something else. One, two.
again,
Then
like
it
I
was
said, distasteful.
right. Then when he was in the bathtub with him, like you teach your kids about strangers. Why did you let this stranger get in the tub with him? Granted, he didn't really touch the boy, thank goodness. But come on. Then it was the rubbing, the oil. Like it just was like, all right, y'all escalated. I was almost like, all right, they reaching until I got to those scenes, and I was like, this might be valid because why is y'all doing all this? Why?
I mean,
Like even
I
on
mean,
Law and Order, I don't like when they sit close to them and touch the little girl leg or something. That's too much. I would tell my son to scream "stranger danger" stop. You know, do something when that happens, and you want these kids to sit down and act like that's normal for a check.
well, I mean, for a check, but again, I've babysitting people's children, and they taking bath, and I put lotion on their skin. I'm not trying to molest no children. That's disgusting. So I mean, like I said, certain things that is inside this video can be can't doesn't have to be misconstrued. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can't say everybody you leave your kid with would do something like this. I just don't understand why this particular situation would be something that he wanted to reflect on. And again, why would Tiffany participate in such a cheap, bad video? Is this before she was even famous?
I do not feel like this old. They can say that all they want to. I'm not seeing it. It's not giving old at all. At all. It's not. It's not giving old at all.
That's because that's what I want to know. Is this something he's trying to warn us about, or is this something that
Right.
he fantasizes about and partakes in right quite regularly, and somebody got a hold of one of his spears and let it go. And now the world
Right.
sees the type of stuff he's doing. Because if this was a production to inform, I mean, I've seen commercials on TV done better than that. You can't tell me
Right.
that they couldn't have did it so much more in the degree that it would look like a PSA instead of a small time pervert porn, you know. Because what was the point of the little boy kicking his legs open while he watched? What
Exactly.
really? What there was emphasis about certain parts that just don't, I just don't understand. I mean,
And that little
what?
boy was not little. Like, that's the next thing. I don't know how old he was supposed to be, but that little boy was like 7 or 8 years old or something. That's how he looked to me. And that's not how 7-year-old, 8-year-olds play. So was they pretending that he was a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old? She was carrying him around. Like, that's not the type of child you carry around. So it was confusing.
And well, I assume she was carrying around because the boy had no shoes on. Yeah, they barely had on any clothes. Again,
Mhm.
some of the things that's in there that's worrisome is like, are they trying to say that a lot of women, because this is a public service announcement, right? So this is something that's happening that we should be aware of, right? The whole public should
Mhm.
know about this because it's happening and we need to have some type of awareness to it. This is what a PSA is. So are you trying to, what were they trying to bring awareness to the single women just leaving their children anywhere? Because that's the messages that you get there, that you shouldn't be leaving your kid with just anybody. And is that happening so much that, you know, it's quite possible that what 8 out of the 10 times they'd be molested? That's a lot. So that this is what I'm trying to figure out. What is the whole message? Like, again, not done tastefully. So it was done horrible. To me, it just predicted like black women, all they do is drop their baby off to the pervert.
And it does happen a
Just
lot.
just hands up the dessert, you know.
That does happen a lot. But a lot of black people, black women feel overwhelmed. They are. They get pressured into these situations to have children that they can't afford, didn't want, whatever, or try to keep the man, whatever, and then end up alone with this child or children. And now they got to take help from whoever they get, or else it's just them by themselves and they losing their minds. Like, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't in some of these situations. And it's really sad because they talk about a village and they talk about family, but then your family toxic and your uncle's a rapist. And like, what do you do? Like,
What you do
where
is,
do you go from there?
well, you know where
So
you go from here. You prevention is one of the major keys to anything. If you take the
facts.
steps to prevent certain messages, you won't get it. You know what I'm saying? If you eat right, eat healthy, there's certain things you can avoid getting. So again, if you start vetting, being more patient in your relationships, you won't even have children with people that you can't let take over there so that they can watch their child while you go to work or whatever errands that you need to run. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't be a single mom. These are the things we could avoid. But I mean, they didn't give us all of that. We don't know if there was more to the video or not. But what the
It better
part of
not
the
be more
low
to that
budget,
video. They need to
huh?
stop right there. I said it better not be more to that video. They need to stop right there.
Well, well, the low, like I said, everything is worse because the production was so low budget. That nigga Aries Spears is broke. This is what he can finance.
No, I'm
If that's
done.
all he can finance, that's a broke man. Come on now. And again, so this is why I'm thinking this must have been right before they got a little bit of change in their pocket. They was doing anything strange for a little change because this video looks strange. Now, you know, if he produced it, he was definitely putting his money into something that he thought was going to hit. Was this supposed to be like a one of those mad TV scenes, you know, or off kilter type joke, some type of sick satire or something like that? I mean, seriously, bro,
I don't know.
come on. But you know, people don't find out stuff like this until people get sued too. So that's definitely why
Exactly.
we out here with it. And I'm assuming that, you know, when this lady saw the production of it and she showed somebody else, they was like, nah, that don't look right. Let's sue his ass. And exactly
Exactly.
how it happened. I
Right. Because
mean,
she seems to be out of it. Like, did she
Or
not see the script? Did she not know what the project was? I'm confused.
did he not explain to her that he was trying to show people or warn people not to leave their children with just anybody because it could
Right.
possibly be a pervert or a
Right.
child molester? And she was like, "Oh yeah, he won't know the difference." I mean, seriously. Like I said, the
Right.
child didn't do too much stuff that we would consider him being molested, but a few parts were so questionable, and the budget was so bad. Aries broke ass.
Right.
That
But that's on
again,
camera. She said in her lawsuit that they were grooming her children. Grooming takes time. It's not one time. It's not a one time thing. You have to be around someone for periods of time and most likely alone with them to groom them. It's very confusing how she claimed that they groomed two of her kids, not just one, two of her children. And
well, what
like
was going on with the daughter? Because I ain't see
I
anything.
haven't I haven't seen anything about her either, but that's part of her lawsuit. That's why the daughter has her own lawsuit because she's old enough to have her own lawsuit now. But yeah, that they're accused of grooming and molesting these kids, not just this video. Like that's what I'm saying. Like what else were your children doing with them? That
But that's
is very
how
confusing.
long did it take to film that portion where they did? How many days would that take to film?
Exactly. So I don't know, but we gonna find out.
That is horrible.
Hmm.
It was a horrible production. All of it. That right there just made me wonder, like, what the heck is going on here? And
Exactly.
again, Tiffany being part of this, I just think that she was duped into it. Aries, or she really owed that dude a favor one of them broke nights where she needed something. Cause she said herself before she was homeless and doing all kind of stuff in the streets
Mm-mm.
before
So
she hit big. So I'm just saying, was this
exactly.
something they both did? Uh, strange for a little change.
Speaking of strange for a little change, right? Because I don't know. I be like, I get all these different things on my Google. Like, Google shows you those little news things you might like, or articles, whatever you want. I don't know what things are called anymore. They're not really articles, not scientific, but I guess it's an article, right? Is that how that works?
What? Like if they
Like,
they
when you
just
click on Google, they show you these stories that you might like, and then you click on them
yeah,
and you read it and
okay.
stuff. So like sometimes I'll get a lot of I read a lot of movie stuff. So I'll get like such and such best movies, worst movies, whatever kind of movies and their plots, da da da. And one of the ones that I came across and I ended up reading the Wikipedia for it. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of this movie, but it's a Polish movie and it's about snuff films again. Right. And the question of why do people feel like this need to be made? And who owed somebody what to even make this movie. But there is a Polish movie out there about snuff films. And this guy, I think he was an ex porn star. He was married with kids, and I don't know, somehow he needed some money or something. He ended up doing these films, and they gave him some drug, and then eventually, and then he would really like do it. I guess he was like having sex with the girls, and then they would kill them and stuff like that. And then eventually, he overpowered the people that were doing it, but then they caught him back. And long story short, they made him and another masked guy who turned out to be his brother or something. Um, they were like raping somebody, or I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but they were doing things to somebody, and the people that he ended up doing was the brother was doing it to the man's wife, and the man was doing it to his own son. How they kidnapped his family, I didn't get that in the synopsis, but that's how it went. And then he snapped and killed everybody in the room. What is this movie about?
Well, you could actually find it sick that some people have these type of ideals in their mind, and even put this into a film. So we like
Right,
again, there's a market for it, and there people they don't really produce stuff if they don't think people's gonna watch it.
right.
Quite
I think
honestly, I mean, we as people, independent people, can do that, but big name play people, big movie productions, people have money to waste. They can
I
produce any type of stuff like that.
I feel like therapists need to find the people in the market for stuff like that And go ahead and market to those folks. They might have some good clients out there, lifelong clients out there. If that's the kind of stuff that they into. Because I didn't understand it. I'm like, I I couldn't even, again, just reading the synopsis, because there's a part of the plot is a little boy getting sodomized. I'm not
Mm.
watching that. I could,
Okay.
like,
Some people
the
will.
synopsis described the boy bleeding. I'm not.
But you can read it in a book though, right?
I just read the synopsis on Wikipedia for that movie.
No, what I'm saying is like some
Oh, can
things we
I read
can't.
it in the book?
No. People in general, like some people can't watch that, but they can read it in a book. So when you're reading stuff in a book, don't you
Right.
have to picture it? Because that's what writing is about. Writing is about being able to use your words so people could picture what you're talking about. Isn't that what writing a book is about, right?
Exactly.
Not
And
like a
it can make
cookbook. A cookbook is instruction. I'm talking about like
right.
when you write a certain type of material. Those
Exactly.
materials are so that you can picture what's going on. So either way,
Exactly.
if you can write it down and you can watch it on TV, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, most of that is because there's a market for these things. People want to hear about this stuff. People want to see these stuff happening. I don't know if it's for awareness or other sick pleasures, but that's what life is, and
Right.
when you do it, when people do movies, they want the movies to be as realistic as possible. A lot of true, based on true stories is based on true stories.
It's too
So
much.
it's too much to hear about it in the world, but then for people to be able to actually put it down on paper or film it, it becomes a little sickening, no?
I feel like certain stuff should not be on film because it's desensitizing. People don't need to get so used to seeing children get abused on TV that when you see children get abused in the street, it doesn't bother you. I think some stuff needs to retain the shock value, and that and murder. They now people so used to a shootout, they looking at you like, no. Every movie don't need a shootout, because when you hear shots in the street, you need to be reacting. But it ain't Tom Cruise filming down the street. That's a real thing. Like, but people are so desensitized. They see it on social media. They see it. It's everywhere. You can everywhere you turn. All the stuff that should be shocking is right there in front of you.
Hmm.
Like, when you see it, but then they see it outside the street, it does not bother them anymore, and it's really sad.
It is sad. Again, I understand that some information needs to be told so that we can teach the situation, so that people can learn from the situation and get their awareness of. But these industries take a lot of things from. So, but again, based on true stories, situations like that, we are finding out the truth. So I guess if the truth can be so horrific, why not be able to watch a show about it? I guess because
Because
that.
then you can't tell what's true. If it was still horrific, we wouldn't be sitting here wondering, is the mother just trying, you know what I mean? Like, we would be like, oh my God, that's really what they do with kids. And when people come out, it's a question. It's automatically a question. Everything is questioned because it could be fake. Which a lot of people who see how much attention you get with these same things will rather fake it than step to the side. You know what I mean? Like, people come out and say, "Oh, such and such did this to me." Whole time they faking because they doing it for attention. They actually just made a movie about this on I seen it on Hulu. I didn't watch it. I see that the trailer is on Hulu. And it's a movie about this girl who wants to be who's a social media presence. She wants to be somebody so bad that she clipped pictures of her being in France. It just so happened that there was a bombing in France at the same time. So now everybody thinks she's a survivor. Instead of telling the truth, she goes with the social media fame. And then I don't know how the movie ends because I didn't watch it, but that's the trailer. Like, come on. Now she's someone that victims want to speak for her. Whole time she's not a victim. Like, no, just let that, some stuff don't need to be normal. It happens. So we need to talk about it happening so that we can change it. But we don't need to just be seeing it next to a box of cereal. Like, it shouldn't be that regular. It's just not a part of our breakfast now. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. So, but this is where the driving point has come. A lot of things that we saw in black and white turned to color.
Right.
Now things are being done in real time, and we see it happen as it happens. This is what we wanted, the evolution. But can we handle the stuff that's evolving in front of us?
I don't think so. Most people were not already handling the problems they had. I
Um,
feel like the more that things get exposed, it just makes people feel like, oh, I'm not the only person with problems. Instead of motivating them to fix it, they keep living in the same cesspool they've been in because they're not the only person in the cesspool. So now it's okay to be in the cesspool. No, I did not come on here and say I had X, Y, and Z problem. Like what I said in the last episode, no, in the last episode, one of the previous episodes when I was talking about how that guy said he was punching you in the face, right? I didn't get on here and say that so that people could be like, oh, my dude says that to me too. That's normal. No, I got on there to say that it's not normal. It was wrong, and I left the situation. You should too. People are not getting that. They're getting, oh, well, other people got these problems. It's normal. Da da da. I'm gonna stay here. Don't do that. Everybody got some shit with them, but everybody don't got that shit with them. So you can leave and it's okay.
I mean, the old, that goes back to a lot of the old sayings. A piece of man is better than no man at all. But
Oh, that's
if you don't
terrible.
even feel your own worth in a relationship, is it worth being in one? I
Exactly.
just, like I said, people are too rush to go through life trying to find the perfect one instead of taking some time to make themselves perfect with themselves, so that they can attract what it is that they need. Like I said, most of it is confidence, but
Mhm.
when you know who you are and you set your standards high enough, your patience would allow you to meet the type of people that you possibly can go long term with. It's not no, you would actually invest in the time to get to know these people before you do anything to really put the relationship on a level where there's a question about would y'all want to be together. Hit or miss. I know a lot of people don't want to be in a relationship with someone and they find out that the sex isn't that good. But that's the thing though. If you are in a relationship with a person that you know well enough, and y'all get to know a few more things about each other, y'all can be open and honest enough to please each other because y'all have no problems. You know what I'm saying? Expressing to each other what it is you need. Communication is one of the biggest keys in a relationship, and you can never allow your relationship to grow if you don't communicate in it. Because if I don't know, I can't say or do anything to change or help. If you don't know, how can you? Right? Ain't
Exactly.
no Dion Warwick's running around. So unless they are psychic, then they might know what's going to happen. So they should be protect. They should never have any problems. Psychics, right?
Okay. Like Miss
They
Cleo.
should have no financial problems, no emotional relationship, no type of trouble because they know what's gonna happen before it happens. They should be able to avoid that. But
That's funny.
again, with Mr. Spears and Miss Haddish's cheap take on a PSA, horrible. We give it 2 thumbs down, no snaps up, hated it. What were they doing? Hello?
Right. I don't know what they were
How you
doing.
spend your money to do something and get sued for it? Let's now that ain't nothing smart about that. So, Mr. Spears, we definitely not liking you this year because some of your choices and decisions is horrible. That low
Yeah.
budget, whatever it was supposed to be, as it said, PSA was horrible. If you need to talk to somebody about something that you've been through in your past as a young man, go ahead, man. You got a little change, man. Go talk to them therapists. Go check this sister Ayana what's her name? Ayana
I, fix my life.
Ayala.
I love.
Ayala. Go holler at Ayala. She'll fix your life. You know what I'm saying? She'll get down to the bottom of what it is that you're going through. Because this was not it, dude. So Ash, any final thoughts on Mr. Herbert Spears here?
My final thoughts is keep your kids out the movies. So like I it's
Okay.
not only
Well,
advice. Keep your kids out the films. Keep them off social media too. They don't need to be on social media dressed like a 32-year-old at 6 months. They don't need to be wearing stockings. They don't need to be on there looking like pedophile bait. I don't know. Maybe we need to do an episode about that. I guess we can do that
I,
next with the other
I
stuff
don't
that
know,
we were
but
talking
I seen a little girl today going to the store
about.
with her mother, and I thought it was so cute. She had this purse that was just as big as she was, and she was teeter-totter and trying to hold on to it. And I thought it was cute, but I guess. Anyway, my final thoughts on this crap that we see here. Listen, people, definitely take heed to the message. Even though it was done very distastefully and not in the best light, we do gotta understand that we have to take heed to what some of the messages in this skit. If Mr. Spears here, Mr. Aries Spears here gets sued is in the lawsuit and they win, then everybody else feels like what he did was wrong. So we'll keep up with all of that. But again, please, people, like, share, subscribe, comment. If there's something that you want to hear us talk about, write it in the comments. We'll definitely take a look at it and we'll discuss it. We've had plenty of our viewer choice topics. We don't mind talking about stuff that y'all want us to talk about. Again, we get support by you guys liking the video. It keeps me in the algorithm. Like, so when you type in the uneducated educated on YouTube, I'm the first one online because they know who y'all talking about, me. So yeah. But I need you guys to, if you're watching the videos, like them. I don't care when you watch the video, just like the video, please. If you're supporting us and you're riding for the tuned in squad, then you like the videos up. Well,
Okay.
until next time, peace.